The story opens inside a noble household where a blind boy named Kunan sits surrounded by family members wearing expressions of quiet pity. Ever since he was born, he's been told that his eyes can't see, which often makes him question what seeing truly means. His father gently explains that sight is the ability to recognize shapes, colors, and the world's form. According to his father, Kunan's blindness comes from a mysterious mark known as the hero's scar, left behind by the legendary knight Hister Julia. This mark is extremely rare, and instead of feeling ashamed, Kunan is encouraged to take pride in it. Still, the servants whisper among themselves, unable to hide their sadness for the boy. Kunan overhears them and quietly wonders why people feel sorry for him simply because he can't see. Later that day, his magic instructor arrives, and a maid escorts Kunan toward the study room. Along the way, Kunan questions whether learning magic is even worthwhile for someone like him. The maid assures him that neglecting his talent would be a mistake. He was born with a water crest, a rare gift that symbolizes great potential and honor. Despite her encouragement, Kunan remains doubtful, believing that magic won't change the fact that he still needs others to guide him everywhere. When they reach the study, Kunan meets his instructor, Jenny, who expresses her excitement and pride in teaching him. As the lesson begins, it quickly becomes clear that Kunan is exceptionally gifted. On his very first attempt, he successfully casts a spell, forming a sphere of water. Since he cannot see it, Jenny describes the spell as a small water orb, roughly the size of an eyeball. Those words spark a powerful realization in Kunan's mind. If magic can create something shaped like an eye, then perhaps, with enough mastery, he could one day recreate real eyes for himself. For the first time, Kunan feels genuine hope, believing that magic might allow him to see colors and shapes just like everyone else. Later, during lunch, Kunan grows curious about his meal and asks what ingredients are inside his sandwich. The maid carefully explains each one, and for the first time, preparing food for him feels deeply fulfilling, as he's now truly engaged with it. Afterward, his tutor Flora arrives to read him a story and asks what tale he wants to hear. Kunan requests the legend of Hister Julia. Flora hesitates, knowing the knight's connection to Kunan's blindness, but the maid reassures her and Flora agrees, asking Kunan to speak up if the story becomes uncomfortable. Kunan confidently insists he wants to learn everything he can. As the story unfolds, Kunan learns about the ancient war between humanity's heroes and the Demon Lord. Hister Julia ultimately defeated the Demon Lord, but paid a terrible price, losing an arm and a leg in the final battle. Since then, some of the heroes' descendants have been born missing parts of their bodies, whether limbs, eyesight, or other features. These children are known as the hero's reincarnations or bearers of the hero's scar. Despite the dramatic legend, Kunan dismisses it internally. To him, those stories don't define who he is. His future isn't shaped by myths or inherited scars, but by his own strength and dedication. What truly matters is how far he can take his magic. With his resolve strengthened, Kunan commits himself to mastering magic and achieving his dream of creating eyes for himself. However, his intense training places enormous strain on his young body, and eventually he collapses from complete exhaustion. Aiko rushes to Kunan's side and helps him back inside so he can rest and regain his strength. Once he finally wakes up, Kunan reflects on what happened and realizes that collapsing from magical exhaustion is unacceptable if he truly wants to reach his dream. He understands that improving his magic alone isn't enough. His body and endurance must grow stronger as well. Aiko suggests a balanced training plan, sword practice to build strength and stamina, along with increased meals to support his development. However, she warns that everything must be done gradually, as pushing too hard too fast could cause serious harm. Taking her advice to heart, Kunan begins training under Master Yoro, a legendary swordsman who has long since retired. The sessions are harsh and draining, but day by day, Kunan steadily improves. When it's time for his magic lesson, Jenny arrives, and Master Yoro respectfully steps aside. Jenny is surprised and impressed to see Kunan already engaged in physical training. Kunan explains that stamina is essential if he plans to maintain long-term magic use. Jenny can sense a clear change in him. The once quiet and withdrawn boy now carries purpose and determination, no longer feeling empty or uncertain. As their lesson begins, Jenny asks him to repeat the water spell from their previous class. Before, Kunan could only summon a single water orb. This time, however, he effortlessly creates 6 or 7 at once. Jenny is left stunned. She hasn't taught him any new techniques, yet his growth is astonishing. Meanwhile, Princess Mira, Kunan's fiancée, prepares to visit him later that day. She feels uneasy about the meeting, remembering how distant and gloomy he used to be. Although she accepts the engagement as her royal responsibility, she struggles to imagine a future with someone so emotionally withdrawn. However, the moment she arrives at the mansion, she senses a change. Kunan speaks with confidence, shows genuine interest in conversation, and even demonstrates his water magic. Mira is captivated, and the two spend the entire day enjoying each other's company. On the carriage ride home, Mira finds herself blushing, surprised by how excited she feels about seeing him again. Kunan, meanwhile, realizes that he's been overlooking her kindness and presence all this time. Determined to become someone worthy of her, he seeks out Flora and asks her to teach him proper etiquette and how to act like a true gentleman. That night, Jenny reflects on Kunan's progress and can't ignore the truth. He managed to cast 7 water orbs simultaneously, a feat even she cannot accomplish. He has already surpassed basic water magic, leaving her with little left to teach using traditional methods. Still, as his instructor, she decides to adapt. The following day, Jenny introduces a new approach to training. She explains that water magic can be separated into key stages: generating the water, keeping it afloat, and maintaining its form. To demonstrate, she creates 2 orbs, one heated and one chilled, showing that true mastery lies in controlling the state of magic itself. According to Jenny, this level of precision is what distinguishes novice mages from genuine experts. Kunan decides to seriously test the new technique, so he uses magic to pour water into a cup and hands it to Aiko, asking her to taste it. After taking a sip, she hesitates before saying that the water oddly tastes like apples. Jenny tries to hide her reaction, but inside she's clearly irritated. Once again, Kunan has grasped a complex concept almost instantly, far faster than she ever expected. That night, Kunan refuses to sleep and spends every moment practicing the technique Jenny taught him. He concentrates intensely, visualizing apples in his mind. While he can clearly imagine their shape and scent, one problem remains: he still cannot picture their color. This troubles him deeply because without understanding color, creating magical eyes would be impossible. The following morning at breakfast, Kunan attempts the spell again, forming a floating sphere of water. As he slowly moves it over the apples on the table, he suddenly jumps to his feet in shock. Aiko rushes over, asking what's wrong, and Kunan excitedly declares that he can finally see colors through his magic. At first, Aiko doubts him, assuming he's imagining things. But Kunan confidently describes the bowl in front of them, stating that it contains 2 green apples and 3 red ones. When Aiko checks and realizes he's correct, she bursts into joy and hugs him tightly. Aiko immediately reports this breakthrough to Kunan's father, explaining that Kunan can now perceive colors by channeling magic through touch. She adds that the closer and clearer an object's shape is, the more accurately he can identify its color. Thanks to this ability, Kunan can even follow ink on paper, making it possible for him to read books. Although he hasn't learned the letters yet, Aiko is certain it's only a matter of time. Hearing this, Kunan's father is overwhelmed with pride, thrilled by how far his son has come. The next day, Kunan decides to surprise Jenny by creating an enormous red sphere of water before she arrives. However, just as he's concentrating, the rest of his family suddenly appears, startling him. Losing focus, the massive water ball explodes, splashing red liquid everywhere and completely soaking both Kunan and Aiko. Covered head to toe, Kunan ends up looking as if he's drenched in blood, causing his mother to scream in panic and faint instantly. Completely confused, Kunan asks what just happened, and Aiko explains that blood is red, so the sight scared her badly. Kunan's father immediately scolds him for causing such a fright and punishes him by canceling his allowance for the next 2 months. He then announces that Aiko's salary will be reduced for 3 months as well. Since Aiko is entirely driven by money, she faints the moment she hears this. From behind a nearby bush, Jenny watches the entire scene unfold. Seeing everything firsthand, she finally understands just how extraordinary Kunan truly is. With his unbelievable rate of growth, she becomes convinced that one day he may achieve the highest title a mage can earn, the legendary Cerulean Sorcerer. Several days later, Kunan's father speaks with his eldest son, revealing his plan to send Kunan to a proper school. Shocked, Ichio reminds him that Kunan has never experienced life beyond their home. Gurion agrees, but explains that he wants his older son to help ensure Kunan can adapt to the outside world. This conversation triggers a memory from Ichio's childhood. He recalls a time when he tried taking Kunan outside to play, only for his younger brother to become frightened. To comfort him, Ichio promised to hold his hand the whole way, but as he turned to guide him forward, he tripped on the stairs and fell. Shaking off the memory, Ichio hides his lingering worries and assures his father that he will do everything he can to support Kunan. The following day, Aiko watches with interest as Kunan plays with a bowl of water. He explains that he reinforced the container with magic, turning it into a playful fortune-telling tool. Intrigued, Aiko immediately asks him to use it to check on her long-lost relative. Kunan tells her that the woman is doing just fine and still in her prime. Aiko then jokingly asks if he can predict her future husband, and Kunan confidently replies that someone as beautiful as her will never lack admirers. As the two laugh and tease each other, Flora observes from the side, quietly wondering if teaching Kunan how to joke was really such a good idea. Later, during their lesson, she watches him joke around and worries that this playful side might eventually turn him into a frivolous flirt. Still, she can't help but feel happy seeing how much he has changed, especially now that he smiles so often. Once the lesson ends, Aiko escorts Kunan outside to meet his father. Feeling chilly, she asks him to create a few spheres of warm water. After doing so, Kunan admits he's uneasy about being summoned so late. Aiko reassures him that he hasn't done anything to deserve trouble, aside from that blood incident from earlier. Kunan points out that she was the one who pushed him into it, but he admits he didn't regret the experience at all. Not long after, they arrive at the main estate, where the head butler, Balon, greets them. Kunan's older brother soon joins them and leads Kunan and Aiko toward their father's room. Along the way, he asks if Kunan needs assistance walking. Kunan declines, explaining that his senses have improved enough for him to navigate on his own. Though his brother nods, he remains uneasy, remembering the last time he was responsible for him. Inside the chamber, both of Kunan's parents await them, while Aiko and Balon stay outside. Gurion asks Kunan directly if he would consider attending a real school. Kunan refuses, saying he doesn't want to burden others by constantly needing help. He explains that he's focused on something important at home and asks if it's truly a problem to skip school. Gurion responds by explaining that while noble children are normally required to attend school, he obtained special permission from the Emperor to allow Kunan to remain at home due to his condition. Kunan bristles at this, accusing his father of favoritism, but Gurion urges him to stay focused. When Gurion asks him to reconsider, Kunan dodges the question and instead demands that his allowance be restored. This sparks an argument between them until Gurion's wife steps in and reminds him of the real reason behind this discussion. Calming himself, Gurion explains that Kunan's education is important for Mira's future. Any noble who neglects their duties is shunned, and if Mira were to marry someone seen as uneducated, she would face constant ridicule. Hearing this, Kunan finally changes his mind and agrees to attend school. Seeing his son's frustration, Gurion reassures him that he won't need to attend regularly. Instead, Kunan only has to take the annual advancement exams, requiring just 5 visits to earn his graduation certificate. Relieved by this compromise, Kunan feels far more at ease. Ixio also adds that both he and Mira are already students there and can help guide him when the time comes. Kunan's mother jumps to her feet in excitement, eager to prepare the proper school uniform for her son. Calling for Aiko, she heads outside to take Kunan's measurements, with Ixio following closely behind. Gurion stops him, cautioning that other nobles at school might target or harass Kunan and Mira. Ixio understands the concern and promises that he'll do everything in his power to protect his younger brother. The next day, Kunan informs Mira that he'll be attending school. She beams with joy, clearly happy at the thought of spending more time with her fiancé. Kunan admits he's a little anxious about the unfamiliar environment, but Mira reassures him that she'll look after him. He thanks her, though he jokingly worries they might attract trouble from jealous admirers. Mira hesitates before brushing it off, prompting Kunan to wonder if she's not very popular. She immediately denies it and proudly reveals that 5 boys have already confessed their feelings to her. Hearing this, Kunan lets out a sigh, realizing he'll have to deal with a fair share of envious classmates. Later, Kunan puts on his school uniform for the first time. As he steps outside to board the carriage, Aiko gushes over how handsome he looks. Kunan playfully responds to her compliments before climbing inside. Before the carriage departs, he uses water magic to coat the wheels with a cushioning layer, ensuring a smoother ride. After bidding farewell to his family, he sets off toward the city. While traveling, Ixio notices that the carriage glides effortlessly over the rough roads. Kunan explains that he designed the spell to prevent back pain from the constant jolting. Feeling proud of his creativity, he briefly wonders if he could one day make a living providing magical services. Ixio then asks whether he's nervous about starting school. Kunan calmly replies that he's far stronger than he used to be. He thanks Ixio for always supporting him and apologizes for being a burden because of his condition. He also tells his brother to stop blaming himself for the accident from the past. Though surprised, Ixio listens as Kunan declares that he's determined to keep moving forward, no matter what obstacles lie ahead. Ixio smiles, relieved to see how much his brother has changed from the gloomy child he once was. Kunan suddenly grows overly dramatic, claiming he'll live longer than the rest of the world just so he can fully enjoy life. Watching this, Ixio can't help but wonder if the maid is responsible for this drastic shift in personality. As they near the academy, Ixio is stunned to realize that Kunan can sense everyone around them. Soon, the carriage stops in front of the school, and Kunan steps outside. Mira quickly rushes over to welcome her fiancé, only for him to immediately start showering her with compliments about her beauty. Mira laughs and plays along, leaving Ixio completely confused by their exchange. She then turns to guide Kunan inside, but he suddenly stops. Puzzled, Mira looks back as Kunan listens closely to the countless voices echoing from within the building. Although the pressure of facing so many people weighs on him, he feels confident that he can handle it this time. Once he steels himself, Kunan reaches out his hand to Mira and jokingly asks her to escort him like a fragile maiden. Smiling, she accepts. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the academy, Kunan's assigned instructor, Cass, anxiously wonders why her new student hasn't arrived yet. Knowing he's the son of a marquis, she doubts whether someone as inexperienced as herself is qualified to teach him. Just then, she overhears a group of girls excitedly whispering about a strikingly handsome new student, leaving her frozen in disbelief as Kunan walks past with his fiancée. Cass quickly regains her composure and hurries after Kunan, introducing herself as his assigned instructor. Kunan greets her with exaggerated elegance, explaining that he's currently acting the role of a fragile young lady. This leaves Cass completely speechless, but the ringing school bell interrupts the awkward moment just in time. Mira and Ixio then part ways with Kunan and head to their own classes, leaving him alone with his teacher. Elsewhere, several students watch Kunan through a classroom window. One of them comments that Kunan bears the mark of a hero, which immediately irritates Prince Leal. Noticing his mood shift, his followers quickly switch from praise to mocking remarks to appease him. With a scowl, the prince orders his group to follow him and storms off. Back on Kunan's side, Cass prepares a private room for his advancement exam and asks if he understands how it works. Kunan nods, prompting her to explain that while these exams are usually spread far apart, he'll be taking his in rapid succession. Confused, Kunan learns that his father negotiated a special arrangement with the king. Kunan remarks that his father is actually close friends with the monarch, but the realization only makes him uncomfortable. Feeling guilty, he apologizes to Cass for the pressure placed on the school. She pretends not to hear him, but Kunan continues ranting about corruption among the nobility. Trying to redirect his attention, Cass silently hands him the exam papers. When he keeps criticizing his own father and noble society, she finally pleads with him to stop dragging her into political matters. After some time passes, Cass sits alone to grade the test. Expecting poor results due to Kunan's nonstop rambling, she's completely stunned to find that every single answer is correct. Later, Kunan heads to the cafeteria to eat lunch with Mira. Suddenly, Prince Lyle and his entourage block their path. Lyle calls out to his sister, causing her to nervously adjust her clothes. Kunan steps forward, curious about who's bothering her, while Ixio approaches from behind, shocked to see his brother being confronted by a member of the royal family. Lyle openly insults Kunan, mocking him for becoming engaged to his sister despite his disability. Mira looks hurt but remains silent, unable to challenge her older brother. Sensing her distress, Kunan prepares to retaliate, but before he can act, Ixio steps in to calm the situation. This only enrages Lyle further, and he orders Ixio to move aside. With tension rising, Kunan quietly gathers water from the surrounding air using his magic. In an instant, he redirects it straight onto Lyle's pants, making it appear as though the prince has embarrassed himself. Feigning innocence, Kunan points out the wet stain, leaving everyone in shock. Mortified, Lyle denies what it looks like before hastily retreating to clean himself up. Once he's gone, Ixio immediately realizes that Kunan was behind the prank and questions him. Kunan, however, pretends to know nothing. The three of them then sit down to eat together. While having lunch, Kunan asks Mira who Lyle really is, and she explains that he's her older brother. Saddened by how cruel he is to her, Kunan thanks Ixio for always being such a caring sibling. Meanwhile, Ixio is internally panicking, knowing that publicly humiliating a royal prince will likely bring serious consequences. Mira tells him not to worry, but Ixio can't shake the feeling that trouble is inevitable. Elsewhere, Lyle stomps away in a fury, burning with humiliation over what just happened. And that wraps up episode 2. Subscribe so you don't miss the next part, and check out the next video to continue the story.